Can we talk about getting some Orioles to the All-Star game?
You know I'm in.
We've got to talk about Austin Hayes.
Sure.
I mean,
Dog.
he is leading the American League in batting average. He's got an OPS, creeping towards 900. I think he's close to 850-ish right now. Had a couple more extra base hits against the Tampa Bay Rays. After Cedric Mullins went down, I think there was a real concern about who would step up in this lineup for the Orioles. You knew Adley Rutschman was going to be there. But Austin Hayes and Gunnar Henderson have stepped up in a way where the offense hasn't taken that much of a dip without arguably, one of your best players, and not arguably, one of your best players in Cedric Mullins. And Austin Hayes has been a massive reason why.
Yeah, that OPS, by the way, is 882.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's creeping up there.
The other thing about Austin Hayes, in baseball, you need confidence. This guy is walking around with a Cuban link on. I was shocked when I saw it, but I said, this guy's feeling himself. This guy doesn't care who's on the mound when he's at the plate.
Yeah.
He's going to take him yard.
He's going up, no batting gloves.
So
he just
know that about Austin Hayes is that he's popping out the jewelry, the chains. He's all about it. Austin Hayes is a fantastic player and a guy that coming into this year, you needed to be good.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody is surprised with how the Orioles are playing this year. Everybody outside of this building, that is. Because, you didn't know if the offense was going to be that good again. It was the first time that they'd all put it together and everybody had those power numbers and they really were an offensive output team. You didn't know if that was going to happen again this year. And Austin Hayes said, don't worry, I got you.
Not only that, but we were talking in the offseason going into this year, knowing that Colton Cowser was going to be very good at AAA Norfolk, knowing that there were some outfielders banging on the door.
The fact that you haven't seen him is crazy.
And Kyle Stowers has dealt with some injuries and things like that, but between Kyle Stowers, Colton Cowser, Taron Vabra's ability to play the outfield, Connor Norby has been getting some reps in the outfield. There were a ton of guys that you looked at and said, okay, Austin Hayes is maybe on the hot seat a little bit coming into the year.
And he shut down that noise.
The seat is freezing for Austin Hayes. We were talking about how, he could maybe platoon with Colton Cowser what would the middle of the season look like where Colton Cowser was all of a sudden getting everyday starts in the outfield. Now you're looking at Cowser as potentially coming up and, maybe playing some right field with Anthony Santander at DH with some injuries, whatever it may be. But there's absolutely no conversation, rightfully so, about Cowser or anybody else taking Austin Hayes' spot.
Yeah. Because the guy should be an all-star. So go vote, people.
Yeah, he's only in 15th place.
This guy needs to be an all-star. You look at his numbers, he's leading the AL in average.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That's really good.
That's crazy. He's hitting 323. The guy's got a batting title lined up for him right now. How could he not be an all-star? Maybe not the flashiest player out there, but
the outfield defense is great. He's got a cannon from left. He has to play the gargantuan left field at Camden Yards, and he plays it very, very well defensively.
He's underratedly a five-tool player.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't think anybody saw that coming, man.
No.
He's fantastic.
We saw flashes of it, but he's been able to stay healthy. He's been able to stay consistent. And, the WAR is going to get up to close to probably 3 by the All-Star break. He's hovering around 2.5 right now. So if Austin Hayes continues at this pace, he should at the very least be much higher than 15th in AL All-Star voting among outfielders right now. So, go vote for Austin Hayes.
Please do.
Other guys that we could look at, Gunnar Henderson has an uphill battle because he's going to be on the ballots, I think, as a designated hitter.
Which is ridiculous.
Because he's splitting time between third base and shortstop.
But the glove
he plays
is
all
arguably
over.
The best part of his game.
The glove is great. And he has been on a heater over the last month or so. He would have to be on an all-time heater to make the All-Star game at designated hitter in the American League at this point because you have, Shohei Ohtani is at DH for the AL All-Star game. So Gunnar Henderson, I think, is creeping towards deserving of consideration, but whether or not he's able to get over the top, who knows? But I think he is worthy of consideration.
Yeah, I'd love to see Gunnar in the All-Star game, but I just don't see it happening. He had such a rough start to the year where I think everybody was, what's going on here? And then he said, all right. Yeah. And he just started cranking tanks.
Yeah.
So Gunnar, obviously, we'd love to see him there, but I don't think he's got as good of a case that Austin Hayes does.
I don't think he has the Austin Hayes case, but I think he is mounting a case as the season continues, as we get closer to the All-Star break. Cedric Mullins, unfortunately, probably just isn't going to have enough games in the first half of the season.
The injury.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Cedric Mullins was looking like one of the best center fielders in baseball for the first half of the season. I mean, he's still at the top of, the WAR leaderboards for the Orioles at this point. If Cedric Mullins had some more games under his belt, I think he would absolutely be an all-star. It is unfortunate that, obviously the injury happens and he probably won't have enough games leading up to mid-July to book a ticket to Seattle, but that doesn't mean that he didn't have an all-star caliber first half of the season when he was healthy.
Yeah, and obviously you can't vote for pitchers, but Felix should be there.
Yep.
Cano should be there.
Yep.
Tyler Wells should be there.
Tyler Wells should absolutely be there.
Tyler Wells should be an all-star.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? I don't think you thought you were going to say that this year.
Especially considering, again, in the offseason, we were talking about how Grayson Rodriguez was probably going to take the 5th spot in the Orioles rotation, and Tyler Wells would probably get the bump from starter to bullpen arm. And now Tyler Wells is just casually leading baseball in whip.
Which is nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Like, every single start, it's like, all right, he'll give up, like, a home run. And that's, like, it.
That's like, probably it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Yennier Cano has an ERA below 1. Felix Bautista has a case to be the best closer in all of baseball. I think those 3 have a very, very solid case
for sure
to be all-stars. Yennier Cano, I sincerely hope gets there. It might be hard because he doesn't have the save numbers because he's not the closer. Like, setup guys just don't get the kind of love.
The flowers, man.
Yeah, and they should.
They should.
Because Yennier Cano's been really good.
He's the Rock.
Yeah.
La Roca.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Tyler Wells, I hope gets there. The auxiliary numbers aren't as flashy for Tyler Wells. He's not a huge strikeout guy. The ERA is, like, good, not great. I mean, it's still great, but it's not, like all-star, 2.5 kind of ERA, but the whip is unbelievable. The ERA is still very, very good. So hopeful that Tyler Wells will be there along with Felix Bautista. And we know Adley Rutschman's going to be there.